Bobby, so the Member of Parliament, Atachian, says, let's not seek to invite Parliament into the OSP's work. By the OSP's Act, in Section 4, even though it begins by saying that the office is not subject to the direction and control of any person or authority, Section 4, subsection 3, says that this, subsection 2 shall not preclude Parliament in the public interest from requesting the office to investigate alleged or suspected cases of corruption or a corruption-related offense involving public officers, politically exposed persons, or persons in the private sector. Do you find that this is what the minority were seeking to do? I'm trying to refine it for them somehow, somewhat.
Good morning, and it's really a privilege to be here with Dr. Pelpo. I've been listening to him growing up, especially on this platform, and Senior Atachi as well. Greetings to him. And if the OSP had not said that he had already started investigating the matter, I believe that the parliamentary request as captured would have been relevant. Last week, I listened to the OSP on your platform, and he made it very clear that before the Frimpong Boateng report came out, his office had started investigating corruption-related aspects of the whole Galamsey menace. And so it is not as if the OSP just decided to start investigating based on Professor Frimpong Boateng's matter. So if Parliament, and Parliament is not only, it's not minority or majority. If the provisions of the OSP Act says Parliament may request the OSP in respect of this aspect of Galamsey, and the OSP says, I am already doing it, then it means that there will not be a need for Parliament to say, okay, we are directing you, because he said, I'm already doing it.
Right.
Particularly when the provisions of the OSP Act says that the OSP is not subject to the direction. Now, I think there are two things here. There's a difference between requesting the OSP to investigate and trying to teach the OSP how to investigate, who to investigate, how to arrest, and who to arrest. I think there are two different things, and I'm sure in the course of the discussion, they would come out clear, because I do not think that it was the intention of the lawmaker that any group of persons or person would be in a position to direct not only OSP, but even the security agencies on how to do their work. That is why even in normal criminal procedure, if I'm a complainant, my work ends when I lodge the complaint and I give the evidence that I have to the police. But as to how the police will do their investigations, even who they will decide to prosecute, is completely out of my domain. If I think that they are not going against the person that I think I want to go, there are procedures that you can follow. So I think that, yes, I agree with the general cry that we all need this Galamsey to come to an end. And if they are politically connected or politically exposed persons who are benefiting from the menace, there should be a system where they will be investigated and properly brought before the law. I also want to link this because Senior Tachian spoke about institutions. You know, when ex-President Obama was in town some time ago and made this speech about Africa needs to establish strong institutions, I have always been of the opinion that it takes strong men to establish institutional framework that will outlive them. I think we saw the dispensation under the former OSP. We are seeing the dispensation under the current OSP. I believe the kind of, for lack of a better word, public bashing that the current OSP has received may vary in terms of nature from what the previous OSP received. But at least we see the public engagement by this current OSP coming to sit on your platform to explain to Ghanaians what he is doing and how, even to some extent, he is doing it.
Two questions, brief ones for your responses. First, you take the view that what is going on so far is satisfactory. There's been a report through the president to the police to investigate. The OSP is investigating the aspects that it has to investigate. And then Shraj is also seized with it. Are you satisfied with that?
I think to the extent that those are the institutions established by law that would have the jurisdiction to investigate. I think that so far all these three have been involved. I don't have cause to think that they will not do their work until such a time where they've brought a report that is being covered by the powers that be, or there's evidence that the powers that be are refusing to cooperate. Then we would have a basis to say that they are being influenced to the detriment of the general populace.
So the minority's request is needless. My next question to you is, so from what you are saying, the OSP, has it been satisfactory to you so far? There has been what you call public backlash. Are they informed, criticism of the OSP, or they are baseless from where you sit?
As a lawyer, without prejudice to all the facts that the OSP has, I was aligned with the public sentiment until I listened to him extensively on your show. That is what I'm saying. I was very satisfied or happy that he decided to do a public engagement through your platform. The whole concept was as if he had just picked only Professor Frimpong Boateng and arrested him under Rambo style kind of thing. Then he comes out to say, no, he was invited like other persons that have also been invited, connected to this. I'm doing my work. Because per his act, he is required to publish a report of his work at certain times.
Half yearly.
Half yearly. And we are not there yet for him to say, this is the report of what I'm doing now. So I believe that we should wait for him to... He said, I started the process before the report came. Let's get to the half year and see the report you provide on this. Then I'll be better placed to say, okay, as a layman, maybe I think he didn't look at it this way, he didn't look at it that way. But until then, let's allow them to do their work. That is my position on it at this stage.
The OSP is facing some difficulties, and one of the reasons we're happy to have you is that, you are good at your procedure and your law. So we want to help you, have you help explain. I'll come to you guys, but I need him to explain a few things. Now, the arrest that we continue to hear, that the Professor Frimpong Boateng was arrested. There was what people are concerned about, that the investigator touched his shoulder and told him that you are under arrest. What does that mean? In law, does it have any meaning at all? Was it important for the investigator to touch any part of his body?
Well, I have not seen any provision in the Criminal Procedure Code, or Act, sorry, they've now been turned into Act, or even the provisions of the OSP Act that requires that you are touched before you feel you are under arrest.
Is that not a general practice? To have a valid arrest, there must be a touching of the body of the suspect.
There must be a form of the suspect knowing that he is being restricted in terms of his movement at that particular point in time. And I believe that over the years, the practice has been, if you touch him to let him know that, okay, you can't move from where you are subject to these conditions, then they can say that, okay, you have been arrested. Now, I believe, because if it was to the contrary, it would have been said, that because per the OSP's position and per his law, when they are inviting you, or they are asking you, let me not use the word inviting, when they are asking you to report, if they intend to arrest you, the contents will suggest that you should do so, you should appear with them, to them with a lawyer of your choice. Because then you know that your statement will be taken. We know that in criminal procedure, there is the caution statement when they are investigating. And when they are investigating, they are finished, they have a prima facie dossier or docket, and they decide to go to the next level of arresting you, giving you bail, subject to further investigations. That procedure is also different. So I believe that when they requested his presence, and they must have told him to come with a lawyer.
Yes, they did.
They did. And I'm sure that the good professor went with a lawyer.
That is so.
And appreciated the discussions that went on there. I always say that the discussion that goes on sometimes in the public domain is as if the special prosecutor has conviction powers. It's as if once he says, I'm investigating you, it means that you've been convicted. But he has the power to investigate. He has the power to arrest and grant bail. So if he says that, okay, we are touching you to satisfy the legal requirements, which may be developed by practice, But I don't believe that an arrest cannot be effected without the touching of the body.
I've actually heard some people suggest that the special prosecutor doesn't have the power to determine bail and say, I'm granting bail and so on. I'm telling you, it's on social media. People are saying, where does he have the power to determine bail or grant bail and say that the man is granted bail in the sum of 2 million and so on? So this is a clear abuse of his power.
No, but the Special Prosecutor Act states clearly that he has all the powers of other security agencies.
Police powers.
Police powers.
That's what it says specifically.
Yes, police powers. And if the police can grant police inquiry bail.
That's right.
The law is very sacrosanct. They can do that. So if the Special Prosecutor, because you see, the reason for the grant of bail is to ensure your continuous cooperation with the officer or the security agent. So in this case, the Special Prosecutor. So if he says that we are granting you bail to the tune of 2 million cedis, and then we invite you and you do not come, and then they have the right to go to court to have the bail forfeited. It's just a security to ensure that you know that if you do not cooperate, especially with your attendance to their request, then there are consequences.
So
they have those powers.
Section 28 of the Office of Special Prosecutor Act 2017 says that the officers to exercise powers of police, the special prosecutor and authorized officer shall exercise the powers of a police officer specified in the Criminal and Other Offences Act, Other Offences Procedure Act 1960, Act 30, or any other enactment. So, okay, so that is not in doubt then. Now, the issues that have come up, and you have heard people, very respected people like Professor Stephen Adair say that Professor Frimpong Boateng should not be arrested. He doesn't understand why he's been arrested and so on. But now there's another aspect of an individual that the special prosecutor is seeking to investigate who is challenging him. And in the course of this week, we understood that there was a court process to stop the special prosecutor. Explain to us, by your understanding, what has happened and how that sort of clips the wings of the special prosecutor in this process.
Well, from I had the opportunity to read the affidavit in support of the motioners party to secure that interim order to restrain the special prosecutor.
What does that mean, motioners party?
Okay, so the application filed by the lawyers of Mr. Charles Bishop asking the Human Rights Court to restrain the special prosecutor from effectively executing the arrest warrant that they obtained from the district court. So that was the application that was filed. And they didn't serve the special prosecutor to give him an opportunity to respond to it on the basis that their contention was that it was a very urgent situation and the special prosecutor has threatened to carry out the arrest. And so whenever if the court does not grant it for that 10-day period, the special prosecutor may go ahead and arrest, and then it will render the application.
I ask that because, again, in the public, people who do not know are reading meanings into it, that there's a certain collaboration to frustrate the special prosecutor. Is this a normal procedure?
Oh, it's allowed by law.
I can get up and go to court against you without you being in the court and without you knowing, on your blind side, go and get an order against you?
Yes, it is allowed per the provisions of our Civil Procedure Act, particularly Order 25, that allows that in very special circumstances where the applicant or the person seeking that relief from the court would explain to the court that if you ask me to go and serve him, by the time I serve him, what I'm seeking to prevent may have already been done. And so grant me this order in the interim. That is why it is an interim order, only 10 days.
10 days?
Only 10 days.
Okay.
That within that 10 days, I will now go and serve him for him to come and respond to the merits of the case. So more or less, restrain him for only 10 days so that I have enough time to go and serve him. Then he can come and respond. That is why the interim order lasts for only 10 days.
Okay.
So if an application, that same process, if you don't file it again without serving the other side within that 10 days, then that process, that order has no force or has no moment after the expiry of the 10 days.
We understand.